Welcome to Dacey's Divas. Hi, I'm your host, Dacey. Today, we have such an accomplished diva out there making a difference. She is an artist, a musician, an entrepreneur, a business leader. She has done very well. She has a fantastic story to tell today. She actually owns her own clothing and her coffee line. So please welcome this dynamic diva, Silvia Via, known as V. Right?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
you
so
for
much.
coming all the way out here.
Of course, first I want to say thank you to you and a tribute to you and all your amazing work that you do for women. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about who you are, Via. You want to be called Via?
Sure, that's fine.
You know, where you're from and a little bit about your beginnings, and then we'll get into your phenomenal stuff that you've done with your life.
Sure, thank you. So my name is Silvia, but everybody calls me Via. The name is trademarked, VIA. So basically, I was born in Guatemala, and I'm very open about my situation. I lived in Guatemala. I was very impoverished, very poor. I was an orphan. My country is known for like the war. There was a long civil war there in the 80s. Wow. So between the war in my country and coming from a very abusive domestic violence home, unlike here in the United States, you meet a man, he accepts your kids. In Guatemala, it's just the men, it's too poor, so they want to get rid of kids that aren't theirs. And the only way for women to survive is to go have another kid by another man. So, you know, it's a very chauvinistic society. So anyway, I was an orphan, and my adopted parents, they're from United States, and they're from the Massachusetts. They're from Salem, Mass. So they came and got me, and I was able to, you know, get educated.
How old were you?
I was about 7 years. I was in the orphanage from 6.5 to 7.5 years old, and then I came here. So it was very traumatic. Absolutely,
I'm sure.
It was very traumatic. It was very, and you have to understand too, when you're told your whole life that Caucasian Americans are bad people because that's what we're taught, because you know, it's just a lot. So now all of a sudden I'm forced to be in a home with them. It was just, it's a culture shock all the way around, not just environmentally, but and in speaking of culture shock, I just also want to point out, I'm wearing sunglasses not because I'm too cool for school. I have lupus, and part of that has to do with my environmental change because of the culture. This Massachusetts is not conducive to my genetics, basically. So this is why I wear sunglasses.
Well, you look beautiful.
Thank you, thank you.
You look beautiful, and you're always so positive. You're always uplifting.
Thank you.
And to get back to your foster parents, they're amazing.
My adopted parents.
Your adopted parents.
There's a
Excuse me, your
difference.
adopted
It's okay. Yes.
Adopted parents.
Yes, I'm very blessed. I couldn't ask for two better adopted parents. One was an elementary history teacher, and one was an elementary English teacher. So it really helped me when it came to learning and understanding English. And I really needed these type of two parents. God bless them. It was a very hard transition for them.
I'm sure.
And for me, it was very hard.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So how do you like it here?
Of course. I love
right?
United States. You know what I love about United States, and I always tell people this, if you are a woman especially, but if even a person of color, there are so many opportunities, but I'm going to go back to being a woman. You've been abused, there's shelters. You don't have a car, there's bus passes or trains. You can apply for grants. Like, there's just so many opportunities. And so to me, it does make me a little bit frustrated when people born in this country, you already have 10 steps ahead that you're not taking advantage of all the resources, especially a minority woman.
Yeah, that's excellent. You're good points. Now, tell me, you were a single mom.
Yes.
You raised your daughter.
Yes.
You hit hard times yourself.
Of course. So, you know, again, back to the transition with my adopted parents. It was always oh, I think my mic just came off. Excuse me.
Okay.
I talk with my hands a lot. My transition with my parents was always a tough one. So I'd go in the house, out the house. So when they found out I was pregnant, I got kicked back out the house. So I lived in housing, Kerwin Circle housing projects. And it was really hard. I was on a full scholarship. I played soccer, living off my Pell Grant, and on welfare.
Wow, you had a full scholarship?
Yeah, for soccer.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was
You said that, but anything else? Like, did you didn't get into the art world yet?
No, I was always an artist. So
wow, soccer,
yeah, so let's just go back to that. So I didn't speak one word. I think Albert Einstein, same thing. He didn't speak until he was 8.
Really?
So due to my trauma, I didn't speak a word, but I could always draw. So my first language was always, in a sense, drawing. So that's how I communicated at first, was drawing things. And then I learned English.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So you were a soccer player?
Yes.
Okay, and then you had that, so you had to raise your child, your daughter. She's a beautiful girl. I think we have some pictures too, Pete, we can show.
Thank you.
But how hard was that, and what made you a successful what's your daughter's name?
Oh my God, thank you. My daughter's name is Chanel. I'm so proud of her.
She's a beautiful girl.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You should be proud of yourself, being a single mom.
Thank you.
And not letting things get you down.
Thank you, but I did have, so back to my adopted parents, maybe we didn't have the best transition, but then when my daughter was born, I think they really, even though we didn't have the best relationship, it was kind of like they put everything into my daughter. And to me, it didn't matter. Like, the more people that love my daughter, the better it was for me. So it takes a village to raise a child. And again, I'm so blessed that they were great-grandparents to my daughter, and she was able to, because it would have been just really hard and alone, just her and I. But, you know, I did it with the help of my adopted parents and my extended adopted family.
That's excellent. Now, how did you get started now? Now fast forward, what got you into your next phase of your life? After school?
So I didn't get to finish school. My daughter was really sick a lot, and to be honest, I was having PTSD living in the projects, because like cleaning mouse poop out under your kid's crib, that's a whole nother level. and where I come from in Guatemala, like, I lived in a sense like a shack, like with dirt floors, and I was just like, oh no, this can't be life for me. So I'll admit I did some things that I shouldn't have done, as you know, because when you're on welfare, the moment you get a job, they take it away from you. So I had to do some under the table things, and I worked as an intern for my mentor, who has a PhD from Harvard, and I learned a lot about business from him. And I started my first company at 22, and I've never worked for anybody.
Wow.
So my first company was branding, marketing, and special events, and you know.
That's great.
Yeah, so I knew that I couldn't, and it helped me too, because being a single mother, because I was able to pick my daughter up from school, I was able to go to all her soccer games, basketball games, so I was able to coach her as well. So it made me more accessible as a mother to be an entrepreneur. So
hands-on.
Hands-on. So when you say how did I start, I started from, you know, doing what I had to do, get my daughter out of the projects, having my internship, but starting my first company at 22. And again, it's been very hard. Like, as you know, as an entrepreneur, sometimes my account has been negative. And then, you know, so I'm not going to sit here and say it's been an easy journey, but it's been a beautiful one, because I always tell people I'm rich, not because I have the money, I'm just rich because of my freedom that I have to do what I want.
And I admire your post. You love life.
I do love life.
And you're positive, and you're very forthgoing, but you're always striving, you know, for the best within you, the best within your daughter. Explain that. How important is that?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm like that now, but I wasn't always, because again, I come from a very abusive. PTSD is real. So, you know, when you've been abused your whole life, and then I grew up picking partners in my younger years who were abusive to me. I mean, I have a stab wound going down my knee from an abusive partner. So I almost died in 2010 from a man trying to kill me. Wow. So me surviving all of the things that I went through has made me very positive, because I realized that, first of all, my biological mother didn't give me up for me to just roll over and be poor me, you know, and like, she didn't give me up. She wants me to be great, you know? And in saying that, I've always carried this, I'm gonna reunite with my family. I gotta be great, I gotta be great. I've always put this really heavy load on my back, because I feel that if I don't advocate for Guatemala, and I don't advocate for the women in my country, or just even women in the United States, then who really will? And especially single mothers or people who really have hard times. So all of these things, these trials and tribulations that I've been through has made me stronger and made me positive, because I really am really lucky to even be alive, and just lucky to be able to live the life that I live.
What got you out? Like, what got you out of a lot of these adversities? Do you think your faith? Because I know you are religious.
Yeah, I'm very religious. My faith, I really am. I'm spiritual. I'm just not just about religious. I do believe in God. I believe in all gods. So whatever your God is, I'm more power to you. I do believe in your chakras. I meditate.
You meditate.
That's a big thing for me, to align myself, mind, body, and soul. And I think what got me out of these things is just really self-introspection and reflection, and acknowledging my flaws, and acknowledging that I can be toxic as a person because of my past, acknowledging that I have trauma, and also advocating therapy. I mean, my adopted mother, God bless her, she realized, whoa, this child has some issues. When I was starting to get kicked out of like classes at elementary, she put me in therapy. So I'm a big advocate for therapy. And so, yes, I have these successes, and yes, I raised my daughter, but I'm also a very flawed woman, but I admit it. I'm not going to be like, I'm perfect, you know.
And that's how you feel that you keep that balance, you keep yourself above.
Yeah, because I'm able to be humble and know that I'm not a perfect person, but I try my hardest. So every day, you know, that if you didn't do the best yesterday, maybe tomorrow you wake up and be better. Every day you start over is a do-over.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, I admire that, because a lot of women can't move forward, whether whether it's a bad relationship, or it's hard. You know what I mean? They just don't. What do you recommend? The tools? You recommend therapy? You recommend self-help books? Just look at yourself too as a whole and say, I've got to do it. I've got to change.
The number one thing I'm gonna say to women, and this really just irritates me so bad that women do this. Even on social media profiles, I'll see wife of so-and-so, and mother of 4, or mother of this. For some reason, ladies, if I can say anything that will resonate, before you are a mother and before you are a wife, you're a you. And you have to really know who you are and where you're going and the type of woman that you are. If you're not happy, your husband's not going to be happy, and your children are not going to be happy.
Absolutely.
And we have to really take back ownership of a little bit of our selfishness. Like, when we become a mother, we're not just supposed to like forget about who we were as women. And that's one thing I think my daughter can look back and be like, my mom still dressed beautiful. She didn't forget, like, oh my God, she just threw hoodie and Uggs on and called it a day. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes women forget their femininity, their sexuality. They're just who they are, and then they forget, like, even to please their husbands, they just forget who they are, because everything becomes about being a wife and a kid. So
they get too caught up in the everyday life.
So I guess the number one thing I can tell women is find your passion, follow your passions.
I agree.
And never lose who you were. Remember that little girl that you were when you had dreams and you were like, this is what I want to do, regardless of your kids and regardless of who you're married to.
That's excellent advice. And my mom always told me as a young girl, be true to yourself.
Exactly.
Be true to yourself.
But they don't advocate that enough for women, because for some reason we're supposed to forget about who we are and supposed to just be strictly wives and mothers now. And it's like, and yes, because it's in our nature, we're nurturers, we're going to do these things naturally. And also too, women can compartmentalize, so we could do 7 things at one time, But just never lose yourself, and keep finding yourself, reinventing yourself, and
reinventing is very important.
It's very important. Who you were in 2010. I hope you're not the same in 2022. And that goes for life and friendship, because some of your friends in 2020 you're not going to be friends with in 3 years from now if they still stayed the same person.
Well, you have a great positive outlook.
Thank you.
So let's talk, what do we want to talk about next?
Now, it's totally up to you.
Okay, so we've got too bad. I wish you would got a beautiful clothing line.
Thank you.
That's what you started first,
yes.
Right? And then we did the painting, and then the
so
coffee.
I started with the special events, branding and marketing, and then it wasn't until my daughter in 2016, she went to boarding school. She went to Tilton on a basketball scholarship.
Oh, good school.
Which I helped her because, I was an athlete, so I was able to teach her how to hoop.
Soccer and basketball, right there.
Both of us, So I said, you know what? I'm done with serving other clients, doing their events, their branding, and their marketing. And nobody had known that I was always an artist. I mean, people knew, like, who went to high school with me, but the world didn't, in a sense. So I said, that's enough. So I opened up my studio at the Lynn Arts Building. And then I started my studio, and I started off with custom design jackets. And from there, I've been painting. And I can honestly say I'm just beyond blessed.
So, okay, I'm going to show a couple of your artwork.
Sure.
Now, tell me a little bit about, I know you have a series going on, but what, you paint a lot of women.
Yeah,
Thank you, Karen.
Every year I focus on a paint series. So you want to turn it the other way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, that's all right.
Oh, this way?
No, the long way. Yep, there you go. It's all right.
Sorry, V. You can tell I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's okay. So every year I focus on a paint series. So 3 years ago I did the Global Standards of Beauty of Women, or what's
That's a
considered
beautiful painting.
beautiful in their culture, anything from scarification to piercings. Last year I did the one paint series to highlight that there's no such thing as a black human or a white human. And this year I did the Via Sex Paint series. Yep. And the two that you're seeing are from the Via Sex Paint series. And this is to, I guess, highlight, liberate women's divine feminine sexual energy. Back to like the conversation we were having, where a lot of times women, when they become executives or their work or become mothers, they forget about their divine feminine sexual energy. So I really painted this series to highlight women's sexual energy. Yes, the paint series is all sex.
Thank you, Karen.
But these are the PG ones. And it's really just, again, to empower women. Like you can still dress a certain way. You can still be sexy. You can still be this, you know?
It's very important.
It is.
That's okay, great. Now, are you going somewhere? You had mentioned when I talked to you on the phone the other day, up to Maine for the Lincoln?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm going there actually tomorrow.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be able to do an art show, so wish me luck there. And then I leave the 31st to go to Guatemala because I have to check on the coffee farms.
Let's talk about the coffee now. And I'm going to try my delicious coffee here.
So you're trying the cardamom.
Okay.
And I'm the only one in this country that has the cardamom together.
Okay.
So usually it's a Turkish Middle Eastern. What they do is put the cardamom on the side. I'm the only one that actually combines it together. I don't do it. My farmers do it. They're the experts.
Oh, thanks, Pete, for the picture. I'm going to try it. Nice, delish. Nice and smooth.
Thank you.
It does taste like a chai tea.
Yes.
You had mentioned before.
Yes.
It's delicious. And thank you for she made Pete and Karen.
Of course.
Camera
of
girl.
course.
A camera
Thank you.
diva one, too.
Thank you.
But it is light.
It is light. So when I do coffee
And this is
tastings-
black.
Yes.
I usually have my coffee with cream in it.
Thank you for saying that.
It is light.
Thank you for saying that.
Wow.
So whenever I do coffee tastings, I never do it with milk or sugar.
Why?
Because people in the United States especially have been so programmed through Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks to be like, I need syrups, I need vanilla, I need this, I need that. And I tell everybody, you guys aren't drinking coffee, you're drinking a diabetes attack.
Right.
Like, this is why in like 2-3 hours, you're like, I need another coffee. So coffee is supposed to be it's supposed to be black, and it's supposed to, what it does is it slowly, I compare it to almost like an Adderall. I don't know who takes that, but it slowly is supposed to give you energy throughout the day. If you keep needing cups of coffee, that means you put too much sugar in it, cream. You're not having actually real coffee. And what Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts are doing, and I mean, I really don't care because I've called them out before, is they're just putting all these preservatives and sugars and whipped creams, and it's really kind of making you not addicted to the coffee.
Right.
You're addicted to all the sugar.
It's crazy. I'll see these kids that will come out like out of a Dunkin's or a Starbucks, and they've got the whipped cream. It's like 10 feet high.
Yeah, and that's not how you're supposed to have it. And so coffee, if you look at all the benefits, it's great for your heart. It's great for your mind. It's great for your body function. You're having some issues with your stomach. It's supposed to flush everything. It's good for your metabolism. There's so many, and not to mention too, earlier today I actually used my coffee. I have an exfoliator for my skin.
Oh, really?
So coffee is...
Wait, what do you put with it?
Yeah, so I mix it with lemon and sugar.
Oh my gosh, I like that.
And it's an exfoliant, it's an organic. So everything with me too, not only do I preach like, you know...
You're very healthy.
I'm very healthy. So everything to me has to be very organic. Again, I'm very healthy because I have lupus. So I need to be very conscious about what I eat. I don't drink alcohol. I don't, you know, do any type of drugs or anything. Definitely don't smoke cigarettes. So my coffee, I don't just talk it, I live it. It's organic. It's from farm to table.
I like your mission.
Yeah, it's from farm to table, and it's so important for me that people understand that. A lot of these companies too are starting these coffee companies. They're like, oh, we have cold brew, we have these huge machines, we do this, we grind our beans. No, I'm telling you right now, I have farmers in Guatemala, and just so you understand how Guatemala works, they pass down from parent to child to grandchild. So all this family does, they don't go to school, all they do is farm.
Wow.
So why would I go buy machines to grind beans when my farmers cultivated there and then they grind it? They're the real professionals. You know, why would I do that?
Oh, this is smooth though.
So as soon as you open the seal, it comes from farm to, you're the first one, opposed to say you go to a regular local coffee shop. They buy the beans, barrels or whatever of it, then they grind it. So by the time you get it, you're like the third, fourth open up. It's not as pure and organic.
Wow. Now on the coffee, when did you start this? Recently?
Yeah.
Now
So
why did you?
I'm gonna tell you. So
Okay.
another amazing story, because my story has just been like /horror / lifetime. My daughter has her father's her father's from Liberia, and I'm Mayan Indian. She was, a very smart and, curious young woman. She did a DNA test in 2020. With that, she had known that I was looking for my biological mother, because that was like my mother's last wish, that she wanted me to come back and find her. I tried in 2010, and when it didn't happen, I was like, I can't do this to myself anymore, so I kind of put it on the shelf. So behind my back, my daughter went, she found her DNA, and then one of my cousins did a DNA test, and when she found it, it went bing, and then all of a sudden, she was able to reconnect myself with the family. So in 2020 during COVID, when everybody was like dying or going through the worst time, I had the most magical moment in my life. And I found my biological family, and with that, my cousin last year, when I went back again, said, hey, we know a family farm, and honestly, the coffee company started really as serendipity, and it's God's plan, I feel.
Wow. Where do we go from here? I mean, what else do we have left on the agenda for you? What's your next plan? You're an artist. You do so much.
Thank you. And just to be clear, you guys, my coffee, yes, it is $30 a bag, but I want you to know that unlike Starbucks or Dunkin's or any other of my competitors, I was actually born in my country, and a percentage goes back to helping women domestic violence.
I was just going to ask you. That's great.
And helping orphans, because orphans is still a big deal there, because a lot of fathers don't accept children that aren't there. So when you're buying my bag, I'm doing it with intent and purpose, because everything with me is moving with intent and purpose.
Where can I get this, V?
So it's www.viaguatemalacoffee.com. It's that simple.
Are you in any stores yet?
No,
Not yet.
I'm still not sure if I'm
the
going to
process.
be in stores,
Yep.
because honestly, and COVID actually helped a business like myself. A lot of people started brewing at home. So there's so many people that just want to brew at home. So I'm not sure if I'm going to actually ever go into stores, but and maybe, who knows, I might open up my own brick and mortar. I don't know where we go from here, but sky's the limit.
Okay, so what do we got? What do we have in the future? Anything yet? Or are we going to go into any other plans? Are you doing music right now?
Yeah, so I've been recording music for 22 years, and again, I had a choice in my life when I was younger. I had Interscope and a few other record labels, but they wanted me to move to LA, and I chose to be a mother. But today's day and age, as an artist and entrepreneur doing music, social media is just great to do it all.
We're wrapping up. Can you believe it?
I know. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
One quick question.
Yeah.
If you had a magic wand, because you're such an intelligent woman, what would you wish for the young women out there today?
Oh, wow. If I had a magic wand, what would I wish for you? To never lose themselves and always walk with purpose and intent.
I love that. Via, it was a pleasure having you on the
you
show.
so
You are a
much.
true
Thank
diva.
you.
I had to give you my traditional Godiva chocolate for the diva in you.
And it's going to go so great with the coffee. Thank you. Thank you.
If anyone knows an excellent diva like Silvia, known as Via, please check out all of her websites. We flashed them on the show the whole day.
Thank you.
And I wanted to thank you for coming out, and thank you for watching Dacey's Divas. I will see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.